Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Listen, glad to have you guys here. Today is September 18th, 2019. Let's get right into it and get the show started, and let's open up the charts right here. Well, you know what? They have went and done it. Genetic engineers treading on very dangerous territory. And, all the way through history, uh, we haven't had this power of genetic engineering. Guess what? They've created super mosquitoes, and they've been released into the wild. You know, and these new mosquitoes, uh, uh, honest to gosh, they they're resistant to not to insecticides and pesticides, and also they breed far more quicker than normal regular mosquitoes. It was an experiment gone wrong. What they need to do, they need to get onto this. And they need to have tight, rigid controls on genetic engineering. But it might be too late in this case. Two of the things I hate the most in this entire world are ticks and mosquitoes. And now they've went and done it. They've created a super mosquito. He's in the jungles of Brazil. He's breeding like crazy. This new super mosquito. And they did it to try to cut back on the. This is the irony in it. They did this to try to cut back on the amount of mosquitoes because of yellow fever and dengue and Zika and other mosquito-borne diseases. But instead, what they've done is they've released this new super mosquito into the wild, and this thing might spread earthwide. And can you imagine summers where the air is so full of mosquitoes that you can hardly breathe without them getting into your nose or mouth or whatever, and just the air just clouds of them. And these things, you spray for them, and they're no effect. This is a new genetically modified mosquito. Now, right now, they're just, I guess, down in Brazil, but, these things could spread all over the world because they're the new tougher breed. They're the new resistant to it's the same with your bacteria. In the hospital now you get bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics, and now these are spreading more than the old bacterias. Well, it's the same way with these new mosquitoes. These new mosquitoes are resistant to spraying and stuff like that. They'll become the dominant species, and it's probably just a matter of time until they spread everywhere on the whole earth. They can. I mean, you say, well, they're down in Brazil. How would they get over from Brazil, say, to China or someplace like that? Well, a guy could they could be loading cargo on a ship, and the guy opens the door and he goes down to the cargo bay and the mosquitoes follow him in, you know? And they hide out inside the ship. The ship sails across the ocean. He opens up the cargo door completely unaware, and the Brazilian mosquito then is in China or whatever and starts to spread. And they can spread earthwide. It just takes a few years. It might take 5 or 10 years. So in our future, maybe 10 years from now, this might be the dominant species of mosquito on Earth. And just, they breed like crazy. There'll be 10 times more of them in the air every summer. So this is why we need these controls on bioengineering. Now, let's get into the markets. Silver today. It's down 12 cents. It's at $17.89 today, And it's because we're in this little period right now where even though there's a lot going on, none of these situations have really manifested themselves in a way that's taking the economy down. So there's a little bit of a calm period. And they buy gold and silver when they're frightened. And they're not frightened so much today. They're gone back to normal market activity, and they're hoping for the best on everything, And anyway, let's take a look at cryptocurrency today. Well, first let's go back to the gold. We didn't do gold. Let's take a look at gold. Surprisingly, gold's up $4.30, even though silver's down. Gold's at 1506, you know. Gold's going to shine a lot more in the upcoming months and years, you know, as things go by. And silver's going to shine really good, too. Silver is going to actually outperform gold ultimately in the end. And that's, we've seen a little taste of that over the past few weeks with silver making moves, you know. That's just a little taste of what's to come in the future. Let's take a look now at cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency's $271 billion today. Now, it's been riding around 262, 265, 267, and now it's finally broken above 270 billion. Let me just refresh the page real quick. 272. So, crypto's rising right now, starting to rise again a little bit. We're looking at a Bitcoin price of 10,227, and the Bitcoin dominance has slid back. That's a really bullish sign in my mind. When we see that Bitcoin dominance sliding back, it slid back to 67.4%. It was over 70% a little while ago. Remember that. And this is a very bullish sign when we see the altcoins starting to take off. Let's take a look now at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and let's see, it should be running for the last 9 minutes. Down 59 points on the day so far today. And, yeah, they're looking for the support from the Fed. Today, they're waiting on the announcement. It's probably going to be a 25 basis point rate cut. That's probably what we're looking at. And will that be enough to satisfy the market? You know, in order to keep this market from falling out of bed now at this point, they're going to have to jump through hoops. The Fed is going to have to jump through hoops with stimulus measures and stuff. But it looks like that's the direction that they're moving. You know, all the central banks look like they're moving into a much more dovish, much more accommodative stance of supporting the markets. And this is going to be inflationary. And as long as they continue with this stance, and as long as they don't try to haul back, as long as they actually offer more than the market even wants, then we're going to see the market go up. And you know how high this market could go? Well, going into a hyperinflation, the market could go up enormously higher. But what's it worth? Because the dollars will be worth a lot less in a hyperinflation. Ultimately, that's what we're headed toward. There's no other conclusion to this world situation that we're in. The world situation with the monetary system. There's no other conclusion except hyperinflation. The only other conclusion would be for the system to completely collapse, and they can't let that happen. So if they don't let that happen, then we're moving toward hyperinflation. It's the only other way out. Let's take a look now at oil. Now, something I didn't expect here with oil, didn't expect it at all, is I didn't expect the price to start to move down this low with the situation we have going. When this situation first happened, I predicted a 28% increase in the price of oil. We didn't get that. We only got like about 10% price increase, and now that's been diminishing over the last few days. Look, you can see this massive move upwards in price, but what we see is it coming back down. It's coming back down. It's on its way back down to pre-crisis levels before the crisis happened. And if it continues on like this for a couple more days, it's going to be right back where it started again, around 55, 56 bucks. It's at 58.22 right now and dropping, you know. The Saudis are getting their oil production back in line again. Probably this situation won't last more than a month. And the oil prices, as long as nothing more happens to escalate this, but I tend to think that more is coming, you know, but that's just me. Let's take a look at U.S. Treasuries today and see what they're doing. We're looking at all the yields falling all the way across the board from short end to long end, and quite significant too on the long end of the yield curve. 4.7 basis points on both the 10-year and 30-year. So, well, now it's 4.6, so it's not quite as high as it was, but it's fluctuating in real time right now while we're watching. Let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar index, and we see the dollar it's rising today a little bit. If we look at the start of the day to the finish, but it is uh, over the past little while it's been starting to drop back a little bit. But we're looking at 98.38 right now on the U.S. dollar index. Listen, thank you guys for listening to this show. Remember, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. If you guys all give me a thumbs up, And we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye bye.